that you will join us in the eradication of La France Afrique, the very unfair dominance, and it has to end.
What would you do if you were given the opportunity to stand less than 1 meter away from the president of France? I know a lot of us will ultimately go on a worship mode to begin to say words like, Your Excellency, I'm loyal, sir. Why? Just because of what we think we can benefit from the president of France. But on the contrary, I'm going to be showing you a very brave and courageous African lady that had the opportunity to stand on the same stage with the president of France. And guess what? She spoke truth to power. The president of France was dumbfounded. He had no words to say than to take up his pen and start writing. She said strong words that actually gave her an ovation from the crowd that was actually in the conference hall. She said words like, your exploitative colonial moves in Africa is unfair and we find it arrogant. It has to stop. She went ahead to expose the extent of damage France has actually caused in Africa. And I would love you to watch that video for yourself because it has actually generated a lot of reactions on the internet. Please go to the comment section and let's get to know what your thought is about this Kenyan lady who spoke truth to power. But if you're new to our session, do want to smash the subscribe button and turn on all notifications so that you can be duly informed when we put out informative content like this. Don't go anywhere. I'll be coming back to wrap up the video. My name is Moses and this is Think Tank TV.
President, a new generation that is not hampered by the burdens of nostalgia. We are ready to look at Africa-France relations with fresh eyes, with optimism and with confidence. To paraphrase Nelson Mandela, our choices must reflect our hopes and not our fears. We are not afraid to take our responsibility. You must find the courage to take yours. Because France cannot remain trapped in an outdated vision of the African continent. We have come to propose solutions and to dialogue with you because we have a different, a more admirable future to propose. Not necessarily because we are going to be comfortable about what will change, but because at this point, it is the only thing that makes sense. But before we present this vision to you, Mr. President, there are some profound truths that need to be told in order to clear the air. And that is why I invite Adele on stage to present the facts. Thank you very much.
Bonjour. Je m'appelle
Hello, I'm Adele Onyango, and I come from Kenya.
Exactly as far as my French will take me. So, I'm really honored and happy to be here today because I think it is no secret that the current relationship between Africa and France is complicated. And in order for us to build a relationship that addresses issues that affect not only Africa, not only France, but the globe, then it's important for us to interrogate this very complicated relationship and ask ourselves three things. One, what is not efficient? Two, what is not ethical? Three, where do we see integrity gaps? And to be able to do these three things, we're going to have to be brutally honest. The history of colonization is understandably very important. For Africa, it's a path that is as painful as it is destructive. And the effects of colonization can still be felt to date. And I'm not just saying economically, but even on an interpersonal level. We, as Africans, feel the pain of colonization every single day. Now, the lack of a clear and strong acknowledgement of the continent's pain on this destructive past results in skepticism. And the absence of actions that will further push the acknowledgement is also a major issue in the current France and Africa relationship. In fact, the air of denial that France chooses to sit in is uncomfortable, not only for Africa, but also for France. And it does no good for either one of us. How can you trust the source of your pain when the source doesn't acknowledge it. What we end up with is skepticism on what exactly does France stand for. And so we ask you, Mr. President, how strong can a relationship that is built on pain, that is built on skepticism, and that is built on lack of trust really be? We, not just as a team here, but all of us in this room, and the 5,000 who helped with the report, and the millions more on the continent and off of the continent, want a commitment from you, Mr. President, that you will join us in the eradication of La France Afrique, which is a very unfair dominance, and it has to end. Furthermore, the breakdown in understanding what France fully stands for is fueled by the continued collaborations that France has with agencies, leaders, and individuals who have glaring integrity issues, whilst on the other hand, claiming to be standing for human rights. So on one hand, we have France that is entrenched in issues around racism, around exploitative dominance, and whilst on the other hand, they're still claiming to teach others about democracy.
Wow, remarkable.
These are two profiles that one cannot fill at the same time. And when you try to do that, we find it rather arrogant. What it creates is a cognitive dissonance, which is that discomfort you feel because of these two conflicting values. It not only doesn't make sense, it is unsustainable, it births a negative perception, and an ambiguity in knowing once again what values does France stand for. Now, it is very clear, because we are all here, that the current relationship is imbalanced. It's not collaborative, and in some instances, it's exploitative. We have social impact solutions built without any input from relevant African civil society organizations who are a resource when it comes to really understanding problems on the ground and creating solutions that run efficiently. And they're a resource that Africa is willing to lend to France. Let's also not forget that whilst we in this room are here because we want to change and repair this relationship, there are some who are benefiting from this current dysfunctional relationship, be it private businesses from France on the continent with non-ethical practices, or corrupt individuals and groups from both France and Africa. This group, and the lack of a very loud and public condemnation of this, obviously fuels skepticism. So this honest interrogation is a very important first step, because the strengths and weaknesses of this current relationship will dictate the success or failure of our collective future relationships. But we are not only telling you what's not working. We are very solution-driven, which is much unlike the heads of states that you're used to me saying. We know exactly what you need to commit to today, and we have a clear path on how we can achieve that. And that is what my brother Arthur will share with you. Arthur, c'est à toi.
Wow, I hope you have seen it for yourself. Now, the truth of the matter is that it's no longer a hidden fact that France has actually exploited the African continent for a long time. and it is time for Africa to actually be free. As much as we do not support coups, just like we have seen the lots of celebration in Niger and in Gabon, the truth of the matter is that the military also have their own disadvantages. But we just hope that the African leaders who are still in a democratic state must do well to use this as an opportunity to learn from the lessons. People are actually tired of the failure of democracy, and that is why we are having all this ripple effect. Please do want to go to the comment section and let's get to know what your thought is about this video. If you're new to our station, do want to smash the subscribe button, turn on all notifications so that you can be duly informed when we put out informative content like this. My name is Moses and this is Think Tank TV. Thank you so much to all our viewers and returning subscribers. We do not take it lightly. Bye for now.